Linkin Park is set to release their new album, The Hunting Party, in July. And from their first single, Guilty All the Same, it's a record that those fans which came aboard during Hybrid Theory to the harder edges of the band will be into. Chester Bennington and Mike Shinoda walked the carpet for the 2014 Golden Gods Awards last night, April 23rd, and they talked about the approach to their #2 active rock track, Guilty All the Same.
Well, that was one of the early tracks on our new record's called The Hunting Party. Hunting Party will be out on July 17th here in the States, and the early demos when we started writing, they were alternative rock, indie alternative stuff. Like, I think it was kind of a thing where I was making a lot of demos that sounded like what I was listening to, and there was a day where I started listening to it and I just went like, why am I doing this? This is no good. Like, the bands that are doing this type of music are doing a great job at it. I like listening to it. That genre is full. I have tons of stuff to listen to when I'm over there. But then there are days when I wake up and I'm looking for something heavier to listen to, something visceral, high energy that doesn't sound like the Disney Channel. And I'm like, where is that music? I can't find it. And there was a certain version of it, a certain brand that comes from certain reference points and liking bands like, in our case, like Refused and Helmet and Rakim and all these other different weird things that when you put them together, it just has its own flavor. And that's what the record became.
The style of the new album, The Hunting Party, has been labeled as a Hybrid Theory prequel, and Shinoda said that the description is true, but stated that the album is not a prequel.
Yeah, I think that's okay to say, but it's a bit it's a bit confusing. We've talked about that in the sense that the music that we grew up on, that we listened to before we ever made Hybrid Theory, was music that sounded like this. Like, this was like stuff that I listened to and gravitated towards when I was like a teenager. And in fact, that was one of the conversations we had, was with Brad and Rob and different guys in the band, to say, like, get in touch with you. Like, what did you want as a 14-year-old? What you wanted as a 14-year-old wasn't to make the kind of music you were making like right now, meaning like Living Things, 1,000 Suns, our last few records. When you were 14, when Brad was 14, all he wanted to do was be in Metallica. That's all he wanted. I asked him, what was your favorite band? He said, Metallica. I said, what's your other favorite bands? Like, what else did you listen to? He said, Metallica. And that was like his mindset, right? Truth be told, he was listening to a lot of like thrash metal and stuff like that. But when it came to like making this record, we did go back to that mind state and say, like, not only tap into that excitement, but tap into like what was not cool to you at that age too. What would have been a no-no? And for me, I knew what that was. Like, I listened to the type of rap music that my mom would not buy me. I had to go sneak out and get it or tape it for my friends or whatever, because it was off limits. And that's what I liked. And so yeah, I made a record that my mom will hate.
Guilty All the Same had Rakim rap on the track, and the album also features the guitar work of System of a Down guitarist Daron Malakian. Bennington and Shinoda talked about how that came about.
Well, there were several times during the record where we, kind of would come to a point where, for example, with Guilty All the Same, it was like we knew on that bridge that Mike wanted to rap there. We felt like there should be rapping there. That was.
But then
like,
I didn't want to. I wanted to, but I didn't want to.
And Mike was like, yeah, but I don't know if it should be me. Like, I just don't know if it should be me. Like, it would be cool if it was someone like Rakim would be awesome. And one of our guys goes, I know someone in his team. You want me to call his camp and see if I can make something happen? It was like all of a sudden, a month later, he's there, and it was, we would talk about bands that we appreciated, and System came up, and it was like, why don't we call Daron and see like if you would want to come in and maybe write on something that we've done or work on something new. And we reach out, and every time we did that, it worked out.
Daron was exceptional too. Daron, he's just such a great songwriter. He has such a great flavor. Like, the flavor that he comes with when he writes a song is so cool. And then I know that once we started singing on it, it was like, whoa, this is now like not like him and it's not like us. It's kind of got its own thing. That song is called Rebellion.
Fans are excited for the new effort, and perhaps one of the launching points was the fact that the band signed up to perform Hybrid Theory in its entirety for the Download Festival in the UK this summer. We will have more from the guys very, very soon.
For the rest of the record,
At that point, it was like, okay, this is where we're going.